Chronicles TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1.
It really is all over. But did I sacrifice too much? Mr. Naruhodo. I really must congratulate you. It was a truly splendid performance. Honestly, I couldn't be happier for you. Oh, thank you very much. But I really couldn't have done it without you on my side through all this, Mrs. Sato. Oh. Your kind words mean so much to me. It really was a very splendid show, that Naruhodo. I have thought you've been smiling from the ear to ear, but you look rather glum. Well, of course I'm delighted about the verdict, but in exposing the truth, I'm afraid I've caused my client a great deal of pain. I'm really not sure about what a lawyer about to be doing. Oh well, in that case, I'm quite sure that when you see Lord Von Zeke's smiling face, everything will seem much better. Mrs. Sato? Everything seems worse. He has a face like a thunder. Oh dear, I really shouldn't have presumed. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Almost a year it's been now since I first encountered you here in this very courthouse. For you to have risen to the level of excellence you demonstrated today, well, it's quite remarkable. I exposed the most unpalatable truth you could ever imagine in your court today. I feel as though I've robbed you of something you held so dear. What was it he said? To fight those who dwell in the darkness requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. But that was just the feeble excuse of a coward. Only those with a steadfast eye for the truth have what it takes to fight the dark forces of crime. You made fine work of establishing the fact in court today. Oh. Well, thank you. What magnanimous words. I'm quite sure that Kazuma would have a smile on his face at this very moment if we were here. Kazuma. Come on, Susato! Miss Susato? There's another face like thunder here. Oh my, and here he really was here. Lord Von Zeeks. Allow me to congratulate you on your acquittal. Congratulate me or curse me. You failed to bring down the Reaper. I owe you an apology. No, it is I who should apologize. Your father, Genshin, if I had been stronger, then perhaps I made an unforgivable error of judgment. I can offer no excuse. And I can offer no forgiveness. That said, I suppose you fought for justice and the truth. For that at least, I can't withhold respect. Your words mean more to me than you could know. I will hold them dear. Kazuma. I must say, there's one thing that's still bothering me. What's that? The will that Lord Clint Von Zeeks wrote before his duel with my father. Asogi is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final two wishes. The first is that the document survives. The second, I cannot commit to paper. I have confessed my sins to my wife. May she find resolution in my death. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friend, I risk my quill. Clint von Zeeks. What can the second of his final wishes have been? Let your father agree to honor, you mean? I think perhaps Mikotoba? I might be able to shed some light on that. What? Father! It was 10 years ago, as you know, the day before the execution was scheduled. I went to the prison to say my farewells to Genshin. Oh great, you too? Why couldn't you say it sooner? Why aren't you putting up more of a fight, Genshin? If you only agree to it, say Shishu and I will gladly petition to the government. We've been through this already. You don't need to worry about me. Anyway, Eugene, I have a favor to ask of you. Something of great importance. You're one of my greatest friends, Genshin. Whatever it is, consider it done. I'm going to tell you an address. I need you to go there at once in secret and tell no one. You should find a lady of the Genshi hiding there. A lady of Genshi? She's not in a good way, and she's with a child. The birth is imminent. As a medical man, I'd like you to attend her. Please, you're our only hope. By any chance, is the child yours, Genshin? By any chance, is the child yours? Don't be daft. It's a favor that was asked of me by a man I knew, as his dying wish. My goodness! I swore to the man that I would help. That I would do whatever for his wife and his unborn child. Is that Iris? But if something would happen to me, I need to ask you that same favor. You're the only person I know that I can truly rely on. Iris is the unborn child? What did you say? If something would happen to you? Tomorrow night, you're going to be... You never know, though, do you? What life will bring. Alright then, tell me the address. I'll head there at once with Seishisho. No, not with him. Pardon? This is a favor I'm asking of you. If only you, Eugene. Right, I see. Very well then. So the baby was Iris? That very night I caught a train from Paddington to Dartmoor in Devon. I found the old house. In the middle of nowhere, it was an old hunting hound laying asleep in the grounds. She pregnant! The poor woman on the floor in the back of the darkened room. She was in mortal danger. I broke her wires to precipitate the labor before she weakened further, but it was a torturous birth. I did every humanly possible for her and her child. Iris's mom. And in the end, I was lucky enough to welcome a new life in the world. But tragically, my efforts to save the mother's life were in vain. I held the healthy newborn girl in my arms and wept for her, longer than I care to remember. Eventually, in something of days, I look around the room. There was a precious little in it, but an old travel trunk caught my eye. It had clearly been well looked after over the years, made of top quality leather with fine stitching. But it was when I saw the emblem on the side of it, everything dropped into place. Iris was Van Zeek's blood? B for Baskerville. Okay, Baskerville. Baskerville? You mean the woman was the wife of Lord Clint von Zeeks? That's right. The newborn was his daughter, Iris. But that makes no sense. Why on earth would a Clint have entrusted the child to my care in that case? I was completely unaware that he even had a daughter. I suppose he didn't really have any choice. What? Well, your brother said that he confessed everything to his wife. So she must have been beside herself with worry for her child. If the true identity of the professor were ever to be made public, the girl would be forever branded as the daughter of the infamous mass murderer. So the only solution was to distance the young girl from Von Zeke's family as much as possible. I don't believe it. I imagine that in his final hour, Lord Clint Von Zeeks made the obvious choice. He would have thought to himself, this Japanese man here is something I can trust. I honored my promise to Genshin, of course. However, only a month later, I was summoned back to Japan, and without disclosing the parentage of the child, I couldn't obtain permission to take her with me.
Oh, how awful.
I was completely at loss. In the end, I had to ask my great friend. I asked him if he would be a father to her.
That being Mr. Sholmes, I presume.
Yes. He took one look into my eyes and agreed to it on the spot.
Mr. Sholmes, he has a heart of gold.
Really? All that can be said that I did for the child was to give her a name.
Oh.
When I had come to Britain, I was trying to escape from the grief of losing my darling wife. So it was her name that I gave the little girl.
Your wife's name, Professor? In other words, the name of my mother. Ayame Mikotoba.
Ayame? Oh. That's right, Ayame. Or in English, Iris.
Iris? I had no idea. Ouch! Mr. Naruhodo, what's wrong? This little thing just pitched me in the behind through my trouser pocket hard.
Ah, my dear fellows, can you hear me?
Mr. Sholmes, is that you?
Ow! Yes, we can hear you. You see what excessive tugging can do? Let that be a lesson to you?
Mr. Sholmes, we weren't able to thank you properly before, but you were simply marvelous. Your checkmate move was a stroke of genius.
Indeed it was, wasn't it? I surpassed myself, I feel. If I had become apparent to me that the Stop Lord Chief Justice would acquire such measures in justice.
Bruno, Susie.
Oh, Iris. His cousin.
Oh, I'm so pleased. What a wonderful outcome. Her Majesty Queen Vicky says she thought my special blend was delicious.
Oh, I'm sure she did. After all, no one brews a more delicious tea than you do, Iris.
Let's have a party to celebrate. And Mr. Reaper, you simply must come too.
What? I'm afraid I couldn't.
The Reaper of the Bailey, flustered by a 10-year-old girl, again.
No, really?
Oh, pooh.
But I give you my word that I shall present myself at your residence in the near future to express my gratitude.
Oh, how lovely. You promise now. I won't let you forget. Bye for now, then.
Alright, Iris. Thank you for all your help earlier.
Oh, that was nothing. Just come back home soon.
Ow! One final pinch goodbye, was it? Well, I think I ought to be leaving. Lord Von Zeeks, would you care to accompany me? Certainly. Mr. Naruhodo, allow me once again to express my deep gratitude for you. I believe you saved my life.
Wait, Lord Von Zeeks!
Yes?
What are you intending to do now?
Well, clearly, I shall have to resign from the prosecutor's office.
Oh no.
I intend to publicize the full truth about the professor case. Once that's done, the Van Zeeks family will be ostracized completely from London society.
Surely not.
So as soon as I'm free from my employment, I shall leave the capital.
Oh, I see.
Don't be a fool. Are those the actions of a man once feared as the mighty Reaper of the Bailey? I beg your pardon? For the past 10 years, you've endured that synonym and been cast on one of the dark forces yourself. Now that you've finally been freed from that disruptive, your battle's just beginning, surely. Well, I certainly never expect to hear those words from your lips. I waited a very long time to London. Now I'm probably here. I intend to learn all that I can. Anyway, goodbye for now, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kazuma Asogi. It seems as though he's really matured suddenly. He's not the only one who's matured, Mr. Naruhodo. Huh? Well, I think we should make our way back to Baker Street. We must help Iris with tonight's dinner. We must. It was then that I came to an important decision about my future. I'm home. Ah! About time you get here. We've been waiting ages, Otto. What are you doing with that colorful piece of history? It's a party, ain't it? You just gotta have fun with a bang. I mean, fireworks, ideally. But when you ain't got no fire, smoke's the next thing, ain't it? There's a girl on Fresno Street who could help you with that, I think. Right. I'll remember that. You don't have to reload that thing every time I speak. You really must hear this? This is quite an extraordinary thing. I assure you, it will defy your expectations. Take down the everything now, Mikotoba. Ah, the world-famous great detective, regaling his partner with the tale of his adventure. Would you care to hazard a guess? Where do you suppose the fiendish runaway had concealed itself? Would you believe? Inside the trunk I found abandoned in his cabin? I would believe it, yes. Say, Mikotoba. I detect not a hint of surprise. I wonder why that is, huh? Maybe because I was there at the scene as well, Sholmes? What? You were? Then why did the deuce didn't you say so before? Not quite the sight I was expecting to behold, but still. It's hard not to feel privileged to see it. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Hello, Professor Mikotoba. I'm back from the Bailey. And not a moment too soon. A feast prepared by Iris and Mr. Sato awaits. I must say, I haven't seen Susato looking so happy in a very long time. Ah, Runo, there you are. Dinner on the table, everyone. Please do come and take a seat. Time to fill me boots. Goodness, is that really true, Gina? Yep, I'm losing me coppers globing and going back to what I know best. It's a diver's life for me. You're really leaving the police force? But why, Jeannie? Well, the boss ain't around no more, so... Aww. Anyway, no matter how hard I try, the Reaper ain't able to accept a diver turned dick, is he? Well, people can't change, you know? Ah, yes, that reminds me. I rather wrathfully offer to relieve the bailiff of this now defunct piece of evidence. It's the inspector's pocket watch. The crown wasn't reattached. That watch was his pride and joy, a symbol of his great achievement at Scotland Yard. For 10 years without fail, it measured every second of the man's remarkable career. But now, it stopped. Someone needs to keep the memory of Inspector Gregson's career alive by taking on the great responsibility of winding that watch every single day again. Yes, someone with equally fierce detective spirit. It's gotta be me. There ain't no one else. Quite right. I mean, after all, the boss was... Well, he was my boss. Yes, Jeannie, he was. Oh yeah, and I made you a promise and all, didn't I, Iris?
That I become a proper detective one day and track down your old man? Oh! Alright then, it's decided. I'll do it. And I swear, I'll find your dad and bring him back in kicking and screaming. Who's gonna tell her? I'm not entirely sure that would be appropriate. Yes, I think, Gina, it might be best to, well, I think I'd like you to forget the promise, Jeannie. Iris? Well, obviously I've always wondered about who my real daddy is. Of course I have. I wanted to know where I've come from. I thought it might tell me something about myself. But I've got such a lot of trouble trying to find out. There's so many people. Hurley, Runo, Professor Miki.
Oh, no, not at all, my dear. Really, you owe no apology to anyone.
Well, anyway, I decided to give up on it. Because I finally realized my daddy is the greatest in the world. I don't think it matters what his name or where he is from. Don't you agree? Hurley?
With every word, Iris.
Thank you, Hurley. Thank you, Daddy.
I think, Mikotoba. Yes, Sholmes? I think that I ought to express my gratitude to you. Oh? For 6 years, you and I solved many mysteries together. And during that time, I remember countless expressions of gratitude for our good services. But a moment ago, I heard the most pleasing expression of gratitude of them all. And I should never have experienced it, were it not for you. You old softy Sholmes. Well, I must confess, it's a weight off my mind to hear you say it. Well then, I think this calls for the lengthy violin recital. What did you say?
Oh, well, the food will go cold. That's the only problem. Maybe next week, Hurley.
Are you sure a week is long enough, Iris? Even amidst the most troubling of cases, even reeling from the most shocking of revelations, returning in the evening to this suite of rooms, there is always warmth and happiness to be had. The home of the world's greatest detective, my home too, with my greatest family. This attic room has been my home and office for almost a year now. I've certainly had some unforgettable experience whilst I live here. But I think now the time has come. Time to bid this place farewell. Naruhodo? Oh, Professor! Are you alone? I didn't hear any sound from Susato's room. Yes, Susato went out for dinner. She took a carriage. Something about important matters she needed to take care of? I see. I wanted to thank you for what you did earlier. Oh, Iris, I mean, when the subject of her father came up, Lord Clint von Zeeks. I made up my mind years ago never to tell who her real father was. It's what was agreed with Gretchen after all. Lord Clint von Zeeks' final wishes before he died, you mean? Yes, I've had to take some rather drastic steps at times to protect that secret, you know. Calling Susato back to Japan 6 months ago, for example. That's why? When I read Suzuki's report about his final days in London, my heart nearly stopped. You stumbled across the crucial of terrible case, the dog's collar. The description of the Baskerville insignia left me in no doubt. Baskerville. If you decide to investigate the insignia sooner or later, you have the conviction to the Von Zeeks. And to make matters worse, Susato knew of the unpolished story as well. The story that Iris had written based on my notes from the time. Yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Exactly. It was a work of fiction, but based on the grim reality of a huge beast of a dog used as a murder weapon. A dog with the Baskerville family emblem around its neck. Armed with those two clues, I feared you and Susato might arrive at the truth. So I invented a story about having a collapse to justify her leaving London and returning to Japan at once. All in aid of halting any investigation you and she might have been contemplating.
I see.
Something I never understood is why Susato came across the manuscript in Japan though. You know, Iris, the Hound of Baskervilles story, I mean. Sholmes sent it to me. That was before Susato left Japan. He was very troubled about what should be done about it, you see. I read it and carelessly left it on my desk, which is where Susato came across it, of course.
Ah.
It was the only case Sholmes and I pursued that didn't record in meticulous detail. I was stunned when I discovered that yet young Iris had pieced together so much from my paltry notes. Sholmes and I discussed the matter and decided that we wouldn't allow the story publication. After that point, I returned the manuscript by post to Sholmes for safekeeping.
So you did all that to stop Iris from finding out the truth about her father?
That's right, because Sholmes had told me how astute she'd become. However, having witnessed events in court today, I must say in my opinion, has been shifted.
Oh?
I think at some point in the future, the time will come for Iris to know the truth. When it does, well, I believe it will be for the best.
I think so too.
Actually, Professor, I wanted to talk to you about something too. Judging from the expression, I say you've come to a decision, have you?
Yes, I have. I will be returning to Japan.
Are you quite sure?
I'm really only here as a substitute for Kazuma, but he's here in Britain now, and as originally intended. Locum student Naruhodo doesn't really have a right to stay, I think.
I see.
Looking back now, when I first arrived here in February, I'm becoming a lawyer just seemed to be the way things turned out. With Kazuma, Susato, and Mr. Sholmes all gently pushing me in that direction. I spent the best part of a year immersed in this world, but always aware of a seed of doubt inside me. Until today. Standing in that courtroom earlier, all doubts vanished from my mind. I was totally focused. I was sure of my belief in my client, and I was so sure I could see the trial through. And at the end of it, I finally realized no one else chose this path for me. I chose it myself.
The path of defense lawyer, eh?
Yes, that's what I am now. That's what I will be going back with you to Japan as. And that's the path I'll be following for the rest of my life.
Well, it sounds like you've made quite a resolution there.
I have.
Very well then. I must say it's extremely welcome news. I shall make arrangements for your return first thing tomorrow. I don't imagine we'll depart for a few days.
Not with the symposium having been cancelled now. Such a shame.
Never mind. I'm sure there will be other opportunities in the future. Well then, I'll bid you good night.
Susato! I just wanted to let you know I'm back. Did you, hear what you father and I were discussing? I'm sorry, I did, yes. I couldn't help, but... Oh, how much did you hear? Well, from the part about Iris's real father, I think. In other words, from the beginning. So you made up your mind. You'll return to Japan and continue working as a defense lawyer. Yes, I'm sorry. I really should have consulted you about it. I did what once earlier this evening, actually, but you're already gone out. Oh no, that's quite alright. I already knew that was what you decided, Naruhodo. You did?
Alright, kiss!
Susato? Yes? I suppose this means it has to be farewell soon? I suppose.
You'll be a great help to Kazuma going forward.
I mean, I know he's a brilliant lawyer, but he's new to the British courtroom. He'll certainly benefit greatly having a brilliant judicial assistant on his side. I'll do my very best. I wish I could say it, but I just can't. I can't ask her to come with me. After all, she was always supposed to be coming to Britain as Kazuma's assistant. It's growing late. We should both try to get some sleep. I'm sure you must be exhausted after today.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Before I retire, let me just say one more time. You really were quite splendid in court today. So if you ask me, anyone who thinks of you as a substitute or a locum should be ashamed of themselves.
Susato. Thank you. Hey, we're back here!
I can't believe this day's finally come. You're really leaving then, Runo?
I'm afraid so, Iris.
Thank you so much for everything. I don't know what I'll do without your wonderful cooking and delicious tea. Oh, I wish you weren't going. But you have to come back and visit. Say you will.
Of course. I promise. Well, it was a very brief reunion, but why is no beeping noise? It was a pleasure to pursue a case with you again after so long. For a while at least, I felt like old times. Yes, I suppose on reflection, there's something to be said for it, having a little fun once in a while.
I'll just go and say goodbye to the...
See? There's the noise I was looking for.
To the professor as well, I think.
Alright, Iris, you do that.
Susato-san.
I've just checked, Naruhodo-san. Your luggage is already on board. Such a beautiful morning. Perfect for embarking on a journey, isn't it?
Before I set off, I'd just like to say how thankful I am for everything you've done for me. And give my warmest regards to Kazuma, please.
Actually, I think you ought to give him your regards in person, don't you?
Sorry?
Ryunosuke.
Kazuma! What are you doing here?
Do you really think I'd miss my best friend's departure?
Thanks. To be honest, I'd been looking forward to our wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's capital, but,
Well, we'll have to save that for another time. Personally, I'm looking forward to facing you in court again.
Me too. But, we're both defense lawyers, so,
I'm going to become a prosecutor. I'll stay in Lord Van Zeek's tutelage for the time being, but before long, I intend to be just as formidable as the Reaper himself.
Oh, I see.
Actually, Ryunosuke, I have a favor to ask.
Name it.
I'd like you to take care of this for me for a while.
Karuma? Why?
Because I've seen it now. I've seen what's inside me, the demon that reared its ugly head that day. It was only for the briefest of moments. The last time I came face to face with that inspector. But it was unmistakable. I wanted to kill him. I've always known there are demons that live inside people. And now I know there is one in me. The fact that it very nearly consumed me is something I'll carry with me until the end of my days. While I devote my life to fighting those whose demons have got the better of them. As a prosecutor.
So, that's what you've resolved to do, is it?
Until I'm ready to face the demon within me. To slay it once and for all. I leave this in your care. If you'll take it.
Of course I will. I'll keep it by my side. Always. Until we meet again, then. You have your path to follow, and I have mine.
Naruhodo-san? The path you're going to follow from now on, I wonder if I might follow it at your side, and unless I'd be a burden.
What? I mean, I would very much like you to come with me. But aren't you...
You're so predictable, Ryunosuke.
I am?
Honestly, you never change at all. But that's what I like about you.
You mean you knew about this?
It was the evening after Lord Van Zeek's trial came to an end. She came to see me at the prosecutor's office.
Really? And when I had that conversation with Professor Mikotoba?
So, you'd go with Ryunosuke back to Japan?
Yes. I know it's unfair of me to follow my own interests like this.
Coming here especially to tell me. You're a stickler for etiquette, aren't you? Well, what are his feelings?
We've never discussed it, of course, and Naruhodo-san has made no such suggestion. I worry that perhaps I'd be a burden to him.
He's just as much of a stickler for etiquette as you are. He'd never say anything before he was asked. But I'd feel happy knowing you were with him. Look out for him on my behalf, will you?
Of course.
Susato-san.
What do you think, Naruhodo-san?
With you by my side, no trial would seem too daunting. So if you're willing, I'd be honored if you'd come with me. Together we can take on the world.
I'm terribly incompetent, but if you'll have me, I'd be delighted.
Oh, no, not at all. If anyone's terribly incompetent, it's me. Ah!
What's wrong?
Your luggage, Susato-san. There's no time. The ship's going to set sail any minute now.
It's all right. There's no need to worry. As it happens, my luggage is already on board too.
It is?
Your fine judicial assistant has everything in hand as always, I see.
Bruno! Your ship's about to leave!
Time to go, then. Look after yourself, Runosuke.
Kazuma, draw your sword. One day, when our paths cross, once more, we'll fight a duel of words across the courtroom. A day I eagerly await, as a lawyer.
I've been waiting to hear you say that, partner.
Don't forget me then, Kazuma.
As if I could, Ryunosuke.
And Mr. Sholmes, thank you so much. I'm very much indebted to you.
Indeed, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe you are.
I'll never forget all you've done for me during my time in London.
Quite. I should like to think you will remember your debt of gratitude. Especially when I visit you in your country. What? The truth is, although many are ignorant of the fact, the world is far smaller than most folk realize.
Well, I'd be delighted if you came to Japan one day.
Oh yes! Would welcome you with open arms, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, that sounds wonderful! I can't wait!
In that case, let us conclude that this is to be merely a brief parting, my dear fellows.
And that brings us to the end of my adventures in Great Britain. A peculiar twist of fate brought me halfway around the world those many months ago. But that was just the start of my journey. Who knows where fate will lead me next? Still, I'm confident this won't be my last meeting with the friends I've made in London. And when we're together again, no doubt the first words I'll hear will be,
Come, the game is afoot.
The ship, with our friends from the east, sailed steadily towards the distant horizon. But Sholmes's face was alight with joy.
The times may change, but a steadfast friendship will remain true, Wilson. We have but to gently close our eyes, and we are with our companions once more.
So I do just that. And when I do, I can hear his strong, familiar voice ring out.
Objection!